10 things that make the Ford F-650 the ultimate supertruck. The F-650 is a monster work truck designed to make any hard worker feel like a real king. Ford's top-of-the-line F-Series pickups, the Ford F-650 and F-750, are built to be the kings of the road. These trucks were made purely to haul heavy loads and give the driver an ultimate feeling of superiority. Just as tall as other semi-trucks, the F-650 and F-750 give an impressive eagle's eye view of the road in front, and heavy-duty side mirrors and driver assist technology to monitor the sides and back, too. Mainly built for commercial use, this Super Duty work truck can double as a home on the road for long hauls and still be the perfect carpool to commute in for shorter work trips. Needing 3 steps to climb inside, the massive medium-duty truck is assembled in Avon Lakes, Ohio. The Ford F-650 and F-750 are so popular among labor-oriented companies because of the handy features that keep workers happy. So much so that in August of 2016, Ford had already sold more F-650s than it had in the entire year of 2015. 10. Built to keep haulers safe using available driver assist technology. Driver assist technology is built upon Ford's Copilot 360. There are many included programs within the driver assist technology package. These include pre-collision assist using Ford's automatic emergency braking system, lane-keeping alerts, high-beam headlamps, and hill start assist, standard on all hydraulic brake models. Ford's driver assist technology is built in to keep the driver, and normally long hauler, safe and alert for the road ahead. 9. The F-650 is a monster that can haul GCWR 50,000 pounds. The Ford F-650 and F-750 were born to tow. All models can pull a ridiculous amount, starting at 26,000 pounds and going as high as 37,000 pounds when featured with a 6.7L Power-Stroke turbo diesel F-750 that puts out 330 horsepower and 750 pound-feet of torque, or as high as 33,000 pounds with the 7.3L 2V V8 gasoline engine with 335 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque. The total gross combined vehicle weight maxes out at a whopping 50,000 pounds on specific configurations of the F-650 and F-750 tractor. The engineering behind this vehicle makes it ideal for hauling, especially on shorter rides. The turning radius on the F-650 and F-750 are tighter, improving mobility, and optional upgrades, like a front stabilizer bar, provide added stability when handling. All tractors come with standard electronic stability control, air brakes, and traction control and are a possible upgrade on the diesel-powered F-650 and F-750 straight-frame models. 8. 3 quiet cab configurations. Versatility to customize. Both the Ford F-650 and F-750 offer 3 cab configurations: the 2-door basic cab, the 4-door super cab, and the 4-door crew cab. Each has multiple seat configurations and possible upgrades. All 3 models are built to reduce distracting and annoying outside noise, allowing the driver to focus on driving safely and staying alert on the road. YouTuber Doug DeMuro has reviewed a monster F-650 with an upgraded backseat that easily turns into a full bed. These personalized touches allow for the F-650 and F-750 to keep our kings and queens of the working world safe and happy throughout their tiring commutes. But beyond the stock setup, F-650s are extremely versatile. So whether you're looking for a promotional truck, a rig with extreme utility, a 6-door Goliath, or an extreme pickup, companies like Extreme Supertrucks will transform this humble medium-sized pickup into something even more ludicrous. 7. Ford Horsepower King. 6.7L Power-Stroke V8 Turbo Diesel Engine. Ford medium-duty trucks deliver power using their class-exclusive 7.3L V8 gasoline engine or 6.7L Power-Stroke V8 turbo diesel engine combined with the Ford TorqueShift HD 10-speed automatic transmission. These vehicles can run on traditional gasoline and diesel but are also equipped with advanced fuel options such as compressed natural gas and propane autogas. with the compressed natural gas and propane gaseous engine package on the gasoline model. The upgrade to store different fuel types allows the 7.3L V8 to run liquid propane gas or unleaded gas. The 6.7L Power-Stroke turbo diesel engine on the diesel models is B20 capable, meaning it can run off 20% biodiesel and 80% petrodiesel. 6. Ford alternator choices. Options for any vocation. The F-650 and F-750 trucks feature a wide range of alternators. Options include the standard 200 amp, diesel, 210 amp, gasoline, or 240 amp, gasoline and diesel, alternators. For even more power, there is a heavy-duty dual alternator upgrade available. On the 7.3L gasoline V8 engine, the dual alternator provides 240 amp, 157 amp for a combined 397 amp power output. On the 6.7L Power-Stroke V8 turbo diesel engine, the dual alternator provides 200 amp, 157 amp for a combined 357 amp power output. An important note is that the 7.3L gasoline V8 is not equipped with air brakes or air suspension. 5. Quality Dana Spicer rear axles. Axles are essential in any vehicle, especially when hauling heavy weight. Ford medium-duty trucks offer different axle options from Dana Spicer, the world leader in drivetrain technology. Dana Spicer uses Gentech gears for their rear axles, lessening the amount of noise in the cabin out on the road. Dana Spicer also offers synthetic lube for durability. These axles are known for their exceptional traction and reliable braking, making them a no-brainer for a vehicle built to haul heavyweight. Dana Spicer has an efficient and durable axle to match vocational duties and long hauler lines. 4. Ford's PTO provision and assistance for drivers. Included with diesel engine models, the power takeoff provision is standard equipment. Using an output PTO gear connected to the converter impeller hub, the live drive powers the PTO anytime the engine is running, moving, or stopped. Ford has a used split shaft capability within diesel models to allow customers to install a split shaft gearbox to the output shaft on the transmission. This possible installation allows for 2 separate PTO outlets, allowing for 2 separate power outlets for the driver, workers. The Ford TorqueShift HD 6-speed automatic also features PTO provisions for gasoline engines in stationary and mobile modes. 3. Ford Engineering, the preferred right hand of the residential trucker. As always, Ford provides a hand for the working, hauling man. Included in F-650 and F-750 models, a selection is available to the driver on the center console that allows for exhaust restriction. For those moving heavy loads, this can help not only financially but also in saving lives. The ability to choke the engine and restrict exhaust flow helps slow the engine when going down steep grades, which helps avoid burning brakes out quickly and reduces the chances of brakes giving out on long or short hauls. Everyone has seen a runaway truck ramp as they drive by on the highway. No one ever wants to use one. 2. Quality interior decimates stress on long work days. The interior of the F-650 and F-750 is built for commercial wear and tear and has quality engineering built in to maximize efficiency for workers. For the driver, we see a manual option that allows the driver to switch between the 2 gas tanks offered on the rig, allowing for the use of a maximum of 100 gallons to be managed and used seamlessly. Alongside the manual switch for the gas tanks is the manual switch that lowers the truck bed, providing easier access to load the truck bed. On diesel models, the F-650 and F-750 even have an optional rapid heat feature that provides supplemental heat until the engine can produce enough heat to warm up the truck, which is ideal in cold climates. Side mirrors are adjustable in angle and side length. An easy click of a button on the driver's door allows for the side mirror extension to be adjusted in a breeze. The cherry on top of this sundae is the retrofitted train horn, fit for the king of the road. 1. Built Ford Tough for every job. The straight frame and Pro Loader models. The Pro Loader F-650 model is ideal for landscaping and delivery logistics jobs that require a lower frame height. It uses a 33.6-inch tall chassis with standard 19.5-inch tall wheels. It has a tow rating of 26,000 pounds for heavy-duty lifting. The F-650 straight frame uses a 39.4-inch chassis, a little over 6 inches taller than the Pro loader, and uses 22.5-inch tall wheels. The straight frame ranges from 25,600 to 29,000 pounds of hauling capacity. With a straight frame F-750, the maximum payload capacity is 33,000 pounds with a gasoline engine and P to a whopping 37,000 pounds using a diesel engine. Along with these models' sturdy power, the exterior matches up with quality features built to make the workday easier. Under the doorway's fancy automatic pop-out step are extra storage spaces, and to the front is a front bumper so large one could theoretically sit on it and eat their lunch. The entire look of the F-650 and F-750 represents semi-meets residential, and there is an excessive amount of lights on the front and back that can be turned on or off to improve signaling visibility. Prices start at $66,880 for the F-650 SD Gas Pro loader, and this does not even include a bed. Fully fitted out, you could be easily looking at a figure well over $100,000, and if you choose to take the custom route, expect to spend even more. The Ford F-650 is the ultimate super truck. If you're a fan of Ford trucks, there is no doubt you've had an F-150 or dream of seeing one in your driveway. They are reliable, practical, and the newest generation is better looking than ever, but it's not the only truck Ford has to offer. There is something in the Ford lineup that looks. If you're a fan of Ford trucks, there is no doubt you've had an F-150 or dream of seeing one in your driveway. They are reliable, practical, and the newest generation is better looking than ever, but it's not the only truck Ford has to offer. There is something in the Ford lineup that looks something like a street-legal monster truck, and you can buy one for about $150,000. At that price, and for how rare these trucks are, you might even call the Ford F-650 a super truck. The F-650 might not be a bona fide monster truck, but in the way of trucks you can drive on the road, it comes pretty close. The F-650 is one of the most expensive vehicles in Ford's lineup, going head-to-head with the company's supercar, the Ford GT. With the Ford F-150 truck being the best-selling vehicle in America, it's hard to imagine that its stockier cousin, the F-650, is almost unheard of. Outside of industrial use and for business, there isn't a reason to own this oversized super truck, and for the high price, it isn't something you would casually buy. The cab of the F-650 looks like it could belong to a semi-truck but instead found its way into the general consumer market. The F-650 isn't even the most massive truck in the Ford F-Series lineup, it's just the largest one available for public consumer use. While you might see the F-750 attached to a commercial vehicle. If it wasn't designed for business use, why would you want such an incredibly oversized truck? A shockingly dull interior. The F-650 may cost an arm and a leg, and possibly a few vital organs, but for $150,000 you won't see much luxury in the cabin. In fact, the lower model F-Series trucks have trim levels that offer much more for much less, but, of course, they aren't the size of a monster truck. While that may seem like a total letdown, it might work to the vehicle's overall purpose. You can take it off-road, get out in the mud, and not have to worry about ruining expensive Alcantara-wrapped seats. The F-650 wasn't designed to be a luxury truck, but instead is a beast of utility and practicality. As you might imagine from these large vehicles, under the hood is one of two available diesel engines, and neither provide an impressive amount of horsepower or fuel economy. There is something interesting about owning a car that looks like the big bully on the road, but for the price chances are you're going to buy something a lot cooler. Unless you really want a Ford truck worth $150,000. Ford, Extreme Super Truck team up on F-650 for charity. Ford has joined forces with Extreme Super Truck of Atlanta, Georgia, to build a custom F-650 truck that will be auctioned at the upcoming Barrett-Jackson auction this coming weekend, April 5 to 6 in Palm Beach, with proceeds benefiting the Darrell Gwynn Foundation, a charity that supports people with paralysis and works to prevent spinal cord injuries. The truck features a laundry list of custom features, including special Michelin tires and Alcoa alloy wheels, ProPower decorative stainless steel tanks, a Kelderman air ride suspension, custom paint and graphics by Custom Concepts, a chrome train horn, a racing wing and custom exhaust from Jegs, and a custom audio system with a Pioneer head unit and Memphis audio speakers. The truck also has a full leather interior and rear captain's chairs. Completing the interior are carbon fiber trim, race red seatbelts, and red LED accent lighting. For the ultimate tailgate party, the truck will also come with automatic, gas-fired wood-burning assist rotisserie by Rotisserie by Southern Pride. The 2024 Ford F-150 Raptor R is what happens when backcrap crazy goes to finishing school. Guys, try and keep it under 70 miles per hour, the Ford performance engineer's earnest voice crackled over the radios. Pretty sage advice, given the road into the famed Johnson Valley OHV area has a speed limit of 65 miles per hour. True, a 5-strong group of us were all behind the wheels of the refreshed for 2024 Ford F-150 Raptor R, and the Baja Behemoth's 5.2-liter supercharged V8 had been given a boost from 700 to 720 horsepower. What was also true was our little group wasn't on the road that leads into Johnson Valley. We were parked at the starting line of an off-road race course. I happened to be at the front of the pack, inside a Raptor R painted shelter green, a new color this year. While I've long had a priori problems with authority, the improved 2024 edition of Ford's Ultimate Off-Roader is masterful at filling the driver with confidence. Nothing against the hard-working Ford engineer, but on dirt, red line in 5th gear happens at 95 miles per hour. What's new with the Raptor? From the outside, the biggest change to the base Raptor, which still packs a 450 HP, 510 pound-foot 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, is the face. The wide-bodied supertruck gains a squared-off version of the new DRL design from the conventional F-150. With the new grille, the 86.6-inch wide pickup somehow looks even wider than last year's model. It isn't. The giant Ford stamped across the dechromed prow is now textured, and the black plastic power bulge atop the hood has been revised. Functionally, the steel bumper is new and winch-ready, and the center section is shared with the Raptor's rock-crawling sibling, the F-150 Trevor. The two trucks get different bumper end caps, with the Raptors being slimmer and showing more front tire. The taillights have been fiddled with, and the Raptor cannot be ordered with the new Pro Access tailgate available on other F-150s. Yet another reason not to tow with the Raptor. What's new under the aluminum skin is of much more importance when we're talking Raptors. As mentioned, the 3.5-liter engine remains the same, while the blown 5.2-liter gains 20 horsepower via improved air intake and retuned software. The R's 640 pound-feet of torque is unchanged, but the torque curve is wider. But power or lack thereof was never a third-generation Raptor problem, suspension was. Specifically, the long-travel electronically controlled live valve Fox dampers simply weren't as good as the Bilstein's Ram used for the TRX. The quicker-acting shocks on the TRX were smoother over big whoops than the Ford solution. To address this, the 2024 Raptors get dual-valve shocks, with one spool valve controlling jounce, compression and a second spool valve tasked with handling rebound. These new dampers are good for half an inch more suspension travel. There are also new steering knuckles, new tie rod ends, and a quicker steering rack, 16:1, improved from 17:1, which together contribute to a claimed 60% better on center feel. Hit the dirt. We began our off-road cruise in the Raptor R. We never drove the regular Raptor on some packed dirt and shallow sand. Even running at a moderate pace with the huge 37-inch BFG KO2's aired down to 21 psi. I was as amazed as always by just how precise this hulking, 3-ton beast of a truck is off pavement. Thanks to the quickened steering, even tiny inputs result in precise wheel placement. One thing to note, the 16:1 rack means that when your sidewall inevitably hits an obstacle, like a halfway buried rock or a good rut, the kickback is now more severe, trying harder to snatch the tiller away from you. So keep 2 hands on the big, fat wheel at all times when running fast, and maybe start doing some bicep curls. Ironically, one of the very few things we complained about with the 2023 model was how big and fat the steering wheel was. Looks like Ford was just planning ahead. This next part will surprise no one. But dude, the Raptor R's beefy V8 is so good. I'm not going to claim I noticed the small increase in horsepower, but the Predator engine is just as mean, potent, and antisocial as ever. You'd never guess it's 40 horsepower down from GT500 duty. New for 2024, you can actually hear a little bit of supercharger whine, something Ford's NBH team had previously squashed. Hooray! The 10-speed automatic transmission is superlative in Raptor R duty. Crisp, fast shifts are always just a tug of an aluminum paddle away. The paddles function in a semi-manual fashion, meaning that if you pull one, the transmission is in manual mode for a period of time before reverting back to automatic. Quite a convenient and intuitive way to pull your own. After a tiny bit of rock crawling, we left it in the off-road drive mode, never needing the low gears that activate when in rock crawl. The Ford Performance team turned us loose on some sand dunes. Hooray times 2. Even with all that heft, Ford claims the lightest Raptor you can buy is 5,950 pounds. We weighed 2 Rs, one at 5,960 and the other at 6,060. Never for a moment did the truck feel like it struggled. The Raptor R had no trouble whatsoever blasting up hundreds of feet of dunes, turning, and then jamming down to the bottom. Off-road mode automatically locks the rear differential. You can manually unlock it, which meant big, stupid rooster tails were a done deal. The only bad part? It was a tightly scheduled morning, and we only had 10 minutes to hoon in the dunes. Might as well jump. Ford created the production Baja truck segment when it unveiled the original Raptor as a 2010 model. As fate would have it, I happened to be there in late 2008 when Ford introduced the Raptor to shocked and awed media just south of the Outlet Mall in Barstow, California. They threw us inside the trucks and had trophy truck racers launch us way up in the air. Something most if not all of us had never experienced before. We were wowed, and I remember writing something hyperbolic like, even more than, say, a Lamborghini, the Ford Raptor is the most impressive production vehicle in the world. I mean, a flying truck anyone could go out and buy? Who'd ever heard of such a thing? Thus it wouldn't be a Raptor introduction if we didn't send it. The Ford Performance team set up a nice jump and mentioned that a good launch velocity would be in the 60–65 mph neighborhood. Perhaps the single best improvement of the 2024 Raptor is the large, legible, multicolor head-up display. I floored it, and even through polarized sunglasses I was able to see I was about to hit the ramp at 72 mph. I cowardly lifted and left the earth at 66 mph. A decent jump but not exactly something to brag, or write, about. The long travel dampers did make for a soft landing, however. We got a second attempt, and this time I flew quite a bit higher. Hooray times 3. After I landed, a bit harder this time but still totally safe and sound, and climbed out of my Raptor R to snap pics of the other journalists getting airborne, an engineer shouted, "You were going faster than 65 mph that time, huh?" I thought for a second and then replied, "Hard to say. To put a pin in it, flying trucks rule. Hit the dirt, fast. Guys, try and keep it under 70 mph. That totally ignored warning bears repeating here. Consider just for a moment how crazy it is that a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation is not only building machines capable of running that fast on dirt but that it also holds a press junket to show off such shenanigans. Will wonders never cease? The Ford Performance team set up a course for us that used a section of actual racetrack, as well. This is where it became obvious how improved the new dual-valve dampers are. I'd driven the 2023 Raptor R on the same set of trails, and at higher speeds, the lack of rebound control made that thing too bouncy. Now, it's a much more controllable and comfortable beast. Again, 95 mph. Sorry, Ford wasn't even hairy. The truck loved it, so did I. As analog as you may be tempted to think the Raptor is, I can assure you countless lines of code are working below the surface, expertly dealing with every single bump, rut, slippery surface, and off-kilter angle we were throwing at it. We were running in Baja mode now, and the Raptor R felt impervious to any and all obstacles. Perhaps most impressive is the off-road calibrated ABS, which allows the 6,000-pound beast to slow from 95 mph in dirt to make a second-gear 90-degree turn. Back to the head-up display, not only does it clearly display the vehicle's velocity, but it also shows what gear you're in and the approaching red line, essential for driving as fast as possible. The one weakness that remains is at certain speeds across whoop-de-doos, the Raptor R still bounces too much. 30 mph seems to be where the truck is most in the zone, but ye old Ram TRX is better at smoothly skating over such things. A minor annoyance in an otherwise brilliant wannabe trophy truck. On my third lap, I cut a corner a bit short, and the Raptor R reared up on its left tires. My default instinct was to panic, but as I rode through the event, I realized the truck was totally and completely handling the situation. It's so capable, so controlled, so well engineered that I became more confident in the truck's abilities. I was reminded of when I drove the Bronco Raptor on its Johnson Valley launch. Ford should let the Ford Performance team build everything. The course ended with a downhill section leading back onto a dry lake bed. I was repeatedly able to run that section at 85 miles per hour and then easily woe it down to a safe stop. Amazing. Ford also set up an autocross course on the dry lake, which I naturally ran in 2WD with the rear axle locked. Days at work don't get much better. The final part of our Raptor R drive was a dry leg drag strip, stop box to stop box. I was able to hit about 70 miles per hour in 4 high. Switching back to RWD, I saw an indicated 78 miles per hour, meaning that on the loose dirt, the rear wheels were spinning faster than the truck was traveling. I can't think of too many ways to have more fun inside a vehicle. In conclusion, bro, if you stop and think about it, Ford Performance didn't have to do anything to the Raptor. The Ram TRX has been put out to pasture, though it's probably coming back, and while the new 540 HP Ram row outpunches the 450 HP 3.5-liter V6 Raptor, Ford need only point to the huge numbers under the Raptor R's hood and say, "So what?" Instead, Ford did the hard thing and actually polished up an already pretty dang shiny diamond. Would it have been nice to spend some time with the refreshed 6-cylinder Raptor? Sure, but considering the two weigh roughly the same, it's easy to imagine what a slower truck would feel like. As for the value proposition, about $80,000 for the V6 and nearly $113,000 for the V-8, $4,000 price bumps. These types of toys are not cheap. Worth it? Based on the fun I had in the Raptor R, hell yeah, dude. Plus, where's the competition? Ram is taking a year or two off, and General Motors is steadfast in its refusal to compete in the segment. Yes, GM builds the Hummer EV, which should be in the conversation, but anti-EV hysteria is fast and furious these days, especially around Raptor folks. That rules out the basically as capable, and much quicker, Rivian R1T, as well as the rolling meme that is the Tesla Cybertruck beast. Toyota doesn't make a fast Tundra, and Nissan, well, come on now. The point is that at the moment, the Raptor R doesn't have any competition in the full-size, inmates running the Asylum Supertruck sense. Ford could be selling these for even more money if it wanted to, as evidenced by the nasty markup charges many, if not most, dealers are happily asking and sadly getting. After spending several smile and adrenaline-filled hours with the improved 2024 F-150 Raptor R, it's unlikely prospective buyers will see relief anytime soon.